Uhuru Kenyatta has called for peace during and after today's elections. The country is tense ahead of his battle with rival Raila Odinga, which is seen as too close to call. We once again cross live to our reporter Aldrin Sampear live from Kenya. Aldrin, it's over to you.
Well, voting continues here at the Mudomo voting station. 3 stations that have been opened in this area, waiting for those people who are queued up. And tell you what, just looking outside, the number of people who have queued up to come and cast their ballots. I understand that just over 100 people so far that have made their X mark. I'm just going to take you through this area, this voting station here at the moment. As I was explaining earlier on, these are the containers where all the ballot papers will be going into. As I've said, that there are 6 containers. One of those containers is, of course, the first one over there on my far right-hand side, which is the presidential container, which is the box that carries all the votes for the president. And that's the reason why there's so much focus on these elections. But also, quite interestingly, as I've mentioned, with the Kenyan elections as well as the Kenyan regulations, is that they have a specific box, a specific ballot paper that focuses on the female constituency that says women member of the National Assembly, which is part of the regulations of this country, that at least 1/3 of the National Assembly must be represented by by females as part of their affirmative action endeavors here in Kenya. As you can see there, the presiding officer, who I've been speaking to earlier on, as well as all his assistants that are helping carry out these elections to ensure that the elections are free and fair, but also to ensure that the elections are credible, because that will be a very important thing for these voting stations. How do they ensure that the elections are credible? And there's no doubt from any political party whatsoever with regards to the process that has been followed in terms of making these votes, in terms of the electorate casting their ballot and making sure that they elect the next president or even re-elect the current president. But right here where we are, this is the home village of the former President Jomo Kenyatta, as well as the current President Uhuru Kenyatta, and he is expected to be here in a few minutes, or probably just an hour before he arrives here. A large media contingent, and I was saying yesterday to Francis, yesterday when we went to one of the stations where there was a debriefing session of all the police officials, I felt that as a South African journalist who's been covering elections, I felt that I was a bit too close, because we were allowed to film the deployment that was taking place, as well as the debriefing session that was taking place. And this time around as well, we don't have such things where you have the media line up in a polling station and watching as the various voters come in and make their X mark. Of course, we are not allowed to show exactly where that X mark goes on the ballot paper, which is quite understanding. And all eyes will be on the IABC as the votes start trickling in round about tomorrow, when we are expecting the IEC to make the announcement. They have indicated, though, that at least that in terms of the regulations of this country, they have 7 days in which they have to make the announcement of the results. And the big question is, will they accept the outcome of the results? Will the opposition or whoever is a loser in these elections accept the election results? Observers also watching closely as thousands make their way to the various polling stations. It's back to you in studio.
All right, thank you very much there to our reporter Aldrin Sampear live from Kenya for the Kenyan presidential elections that are taking place today. Do stay tuned to Channel 404 for the latest on that story.